Okay, welcome back to our discussion on social choice theory. In this video, we will discuss the plurality method and scrutinize the plurality method according to some fairness conditions. Basically, in plurality method, whoever gets the most first place votes is declared the winner. This is by far the most simple and widely used voting method. An example of an election that uses plurality method is the presidential elections in the Philippines. Now, did you know that in local elections in the Philippines, tiebreakers are decided by toss coins? As an example, suppose that a group is deciding where to have lunch, and this is the result of the preferential table. Since we are doing plurality method, we only consider the first place votes. Now, among the candidates, notice that it is McDonald's with the most number of first place votes. In this case, we declare McDonald's as the winner by plurality. In the next part of the video, we will scrutinize the plurality method according to some fairness conditions. The fairness conditions are majority, Condorcet, IIA, Pareto, monotonicity, and many others. So to start off, let's have the majority criterion. According to majority criterion, if there is a candidate that receives a majority of first place votes, then that candidate should win the election. In here, when we say majority, this means getting more than half of the first place votes. So what majority criterion is saying, if there is a candidate that receives majority of first place votes, then that candidate should win the election. And winning in the election is dependent on the voting method. So let's see if this is the case for plurality. So to see if plurality method satisfies majority criterion, suppose that there is a candidate, let's call it candidate A, that is voted by majority as first place. Will that candidate win by plurality? And of course, the answer is yes. So this is an illustration showing the situation. And in fact, the plurality method satisfies the majority criterion always. So what the majority criterion is saying, if there is a candidate that is voted by majority as first place, that candidate should win the election. And we see that that situation is happening in plurality method always. Now, if there is no candidate that is voted by majority as first place, then there's no need to check majority criteria. So according to majority criterion, plurality is quote unquote fair. Now, let's scrutinize plurality method to the next according to the next fairness criterion. This time it's Condorcet. If a candidate beats all other candidates in head-to-head contests, then that candidate should win the election. Such a candidate, if one exists, is called the Condorcet winner. So again, our voting method is plurality and our fairness criterion is Condorcet. So according to this, if there is a candidate that wins all the head-to-head battles, then that candidate should win. However, not every election has a Condorcet win. Now let's see if plurality method satisfies the Condorcet criteria. So let's take a look at this preferential table. So when we say head-to-head contest, we have to pair two eligible candidates at a time. For example, let's have KFC versus McDonald's. So the idea for the head-to-head contest is how many people prefer KFC over McDo, and how many people prefer McDonald's over KFC. Whoever has the most votes is the winner. So, let's count how many people prefer McDo over KFC. So to count this, we look at the preferential table. Notice that 5 plus 3 people put McDonald's over KFC. Whereas 7 plus 2 put KFC over McDonald's. So between McDonald's and KFC, we see that the winner is KFC. Now let's try another pair. Let's pair KFC and Jollibee. Now how many people preferred Jollibee over KFC? So notice that there are 7 people that prefer Jollibee over KFC. Whereas the number of people that prefer KFC over Jollibee are 5 plus 3 plus 2, which is 10. So in this case, the winner is KFC. And then next, let's pair KFC and Burger King. So let's count how many people prefer KFC over Burger King. So we have 5 plus 3 plus 7, that's a total of 15. Whereas the number of people that prefer Burger King over KFC is 2. So in this case, the winner is KFC. Now notice that KFC wins all of its head-to-head battles. So in this case, the Condorcet winner is KFC. Okay, however, our voting method is plurality. And in plurality, the winner is McDonald's. So we see that in this situation, the Condorcet winner is not the winner by plurality. So what can we conclude out of this? We see that plurality does not always satisfy the Condorcet criteria. Okay, we have seen in the previous scenario that the Condorcet winner is not necessarily the plurality winner. And therefore, plurality method does not satisfy the Condorcet criteria.